found. So if you want to be with him, like we want to be with him now, we're memorializing at where we found his body. Yes? And at this time, if you have any letters, notes, cards, flowers, anything that you want to give to the family, you can do that first. And then we have a few members that we requested just to speak for Chad. And after that, we'll send out all the information for his funeral arrangements that will be at his funeral.
Tamara, GoFundMe. I'll bring that up. Okay.
And I lost my thought. I'm sorry.
No, I thought she told me to say the GoFundMe.
Yes.
Okay.
There are things that the family supports as far as fundraisers and things like that. If you see that it says official, it's from us. If you see that it's on Chad's page, his wife had all his passwords. So that's her loading on his page. Just saying. Okay? But we want to be able to understand Chad's spirit has been this way his entire life. We will be crying, we'll be laughing. He'll tell you, you suck, and I love you at the same time. So we want to be able to celebrate him today. We've heard all your prayers and all your words, so we want to do that first. You have the list? Because you know my phone's always dead. You want to start with Greg? You want to start with Greg?
Start with Greg.
Can we start with...
Which one? Greg, manager, or
manager? For piece one. Huh? Can we start with Greg, please? Greg, manager. Greg Weiss. Greg Weiss. Greg Weiss. Come on, Greg. Just tell me the...
He's not being buried. He's being cremated.
Got it cold, don't you? First of all, I'm trying to keep you warm.
You know, I'm all that walking.
To speak for him and to his family. The first thing I'm going to say is, as I said to you earlier, Ben, you raised one of the greatest men I've ever met. Look at all walks of life between to honor him. It's not only a testament to Shad, but it's a testament to you and you tomorrow and his family. To you, the love of his life, two loves of his life. You know, when he spoke about you, he glowed. And he always glowed, but he extra glowed. And Araya, in the messages I got this week and today, he will never be forgotten. Every audition, every producer meeting he went into, he showed pictures of you. Everyone. I got emails today, and I'll prove them to you. They're like, he would not leave without showing a casting director, a producer, a development executive pictures of his family. To everyone else, thank you for coming. Shad wasn't only a big man, but he had even a bigger heart. One of the biggest hearts I know. He would give you his shirt off his back and ask for nothing in return. But sometimes everything would return to him because that's who he was. He was just a special man with special values that you don't find anymore in this thing. And we're going to honor him by continuing his work that he left us in the name of Araya and you, and we will do anything. And you, Araya, I want you to look around. You have a family. You're never going to be alone, and neither are you. I will speak for myself. You know my door is always open. You touch my heart, not just as a client, but as a friend. And he was a bear of a man, and to be honest with you, he made me a better person. And I will remember that. Thank you.
ask everybody to look to your right. Look to the person to your right. Look in their eyes. Look to the person to your left. Look in their eyes. That is Shad. Shad is everywhere now. Shad was the most righteous brother I've ever known. Pure love. And he showed me that love never dies. Nobody could ever walk in Shad's shoes. All the greatest qualities in the universe, Shad embodied. Love, compassion, loyalty, playfulness, joy, being just the strength, all the greatest qualities in the universe you could ever imagine, Shad embodied. And now that he's out of that body, he's in our shoes. He's us. And I just know the power of Shad is really available to us now more than ever before. So use it wisely because he's available. Spread Shad's love. Spread his creativity. He was a genius. He is a genius. And in this moment, when you close your eyes, you hear the sound of the waves. Shad is the sound of the waves, the eternal one. And I just want to thank everyone for coming, his family, the universe, his papa for bringing him here, his mama for bringing him here, his sister, everybody, his son, my man, give me 5. And just rejoice knowing that Shad's everywhere and available for you to manifest whatever you want in your life. That was Shad's dream, is just to lift everybody up. And I'm witnessing it in my own life. Everybody I come in contact with, I feel Shad working through me. I feel Shad lifting my spirit up and lifting others when I just think of Shad. Now I'm not just a 5'9" little white boy, now I'm a 6'7". Oh, man. So when we heard Shad's body showed up on the beach here, me and my friend Martin, who introduced me to Shad, we came down to the beach and Martin felt that he should write Shad's name in the sand. And he wrote Shad's name in the sand with his finger, and I put a big heart. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, another thing showed up. It said, "Send nudes." That was Shad. Because he could be so sincere, he could be so genuinely serious, but at the same time, just an eternal jokester. And I come to find out later from his family that his mother, since he was born, said, Shad's going to be destined to great things. He's going to be famous. He's going to change the world because his name is written in the sand. Wow. So maybe before we all go tonight, take a second and write Shad's name in the sand with your finger right now. And feel him, because he's Mama Earth. And he is you. And he's in all good things. And we love you, Shad. Thank you for blessing our lives up eternally. And we will rejoice in you. And he loves you all. I love you all. I don't even know you all, but I know you now. And I appreciate you all. Mr. Berg.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
So obviously there's a lot of different groups that are represented here. I see a lot of faces from Gold's, old faces, and I represent a different part of Shad's life. Boxing club in Santa Monica, Churchill, where Shad spent a lot of time. He beat me up a couple of times pretty good and showed quite a bit of mercy on me also. And it was through boxing that I first got to know Shad. And then that sort of morphed pretty quickly into Shad and I talking about art and talking about storytelling and talking about his hopes and dreams of making films and making television shows. And he expressed so much creativity to me. And at first he would come to me with these ideas. He'd be like, well, what about a superhero? What about a young boy made out of lightning who could blow up bad guys and save good people and do all kinds of powerful things? And I'd be like, well, yeah, okay, Shad, that's a cool idea, but you got to do some work. You can't just have an idea. And he'd be like, okay, and he'd come back a little bit later with the same idea. Now he'd have a superhero that could build lightning bolts and had a big white wolf that he rolled around with. And I'm like, yeah, that's good, Shad, a wolf and a lightning guy. But that's really, like, a lot of people have ideas, Shad. You got to go deeper. And about 2 months ago, he called me and he asked if we could have a meeting. And I said, yeah, okay, we could have a meeting. And I was interested in hearing what the new member of the team was going to be. And we went up to my office and he had a whole PowerPoint presentation laid out. Like a whole PowerPoint presentation of like a Marvel world, like the Avengers world that was all out of Shad's mind. And I sat there and he was telling me the story. And he was telling me about these characters and about his vision. And I stopped him and I said, Shad, you actually did it. You know, you did what so few people out in our little world here do. You walked the walk. You dug deep. You sat there alone in some lonely, scary time, which is what anybody that creates ideas knows. And you actually did this. This is really strong. This is brave. And this is courageous. And I told him, I'm like, dude, let's keep going. And that was the last time I visited with Shad. And 2 nights ago, I was talking to Julian, who was here on the beach, very upset, late at night. And we were talking about Shad, and we were talking about this encounter that I've been having with Shad, and how impressed I've become with him. And we were very emotional, and after I hung up, I was trying to find some silver lining, right? Something we all are going to be doing, right? What can we take from this? And I looked up the definition of the word courage, and it was very simple. It just said strength in the face of pain, hardship, and fear. And I thought about courage, and I thought about Shad, and I thought about, to me, what he demonstrated in going that deep with his idea and sitting me down like a creative artist and pitching me a story, not like just the 6'7" sculpted human that he was, but here he was being very vulnerable and demonstrated so much courage, and I felt that. And then I thought about what happened here in the water and what it really means to be a human being who's willing to save his son. And we all think, you know, okay, yeah, I would do that. I would save my son. My son's right here. I think I would do it. But I don't know. I don't really know in that moment. That was a scary, scary moment. Shad showed us who he really is. Deep down inside. No bullshit. Like, for real. He's a brave man. Your father is a very, very brave man. And you carry that in your heart. Because you're a brave man. You've got your father's blood in you. So I choose to look at Shad now as a real definition of courage and a man who walked that walk. He's in my heart forever, and I'm proud to have gotten to know him. Thank you for having me.
Julian?
What's up, everybody? Just like all of them, it's an honor to be here. I'm not going to tell you anything that you don't already know about him. Everybody, you're here. You know the kind of man Shad was. But I'll tell you something that you don't know. I was his bodyguard. No, but seriously, he was a great man. Like, there's not very many people that are willing to do what he's willing to do. And like he said, he took what I was gonna say, where he really does walk the walk. You never know until you're there, and nobody can tell me anything. You can't tell me that you would, give up your life for somebody else because you're still here. He named my dog Dempsey, and my dog loves him, like, because nobody can pick my dog up like Shad can pick him up. He picked us up like that, and we could all use one of those Shad pickups right now, I'm sure. One time, Shad was delivering the meals that Ciliana makes, Empire Meals, if you don't...
Brand.
But anyway, I was walking with my dog, and I didn't have him on leash, and we were walking, and out of nowhere, we hear Shad across the park, and he yells, "Dempsey!" And my dog is really good. He listens to me always, but not when Shad's around. My dog sees Shad, and he bolts across the street. He sprints across the street. Cars coming, everything. Shad drops the meals, runs into the middle of the street without looking left or right to protect Dempsey. That's why it doesn't surprise me that he'd do that for Araya. And like I said, you can talk about it all you want, but that man is about it. He's about it. I know we all miss him dearly. I wish I could talk to him one more time. But now we have to move forward and make sure we're there for Ciliana and Araya. I love you both very much.
Yes, there is a GoFundMe page.
Like everyone said before me, you have an entire family behind you, and we're here. Thank you.
The GoFundMe page will be posted.
Huh? Rico? Anybody else?
Rico, and then David.
Is Rico here?
Yeah.
Come on, Rico. And David? David who?
From the Cherokee, no, it's David.
And David is next. David?
Down. Yeah, you have time to come down if you're like 30 minutes
How you
away.
guys doing? Well, I always looked at Shad like this knucklehead little brother I had, we always have great talks. Sometimes I would leave the gym and I get ready to go for coffee. I'll get a text and it's Shad.
The shirts are as well.
And I ask
Shirts will
him,
be
like, what's up? He
posted.
goes, where you going? And I say, I'm going to get coffee. He goes, you want me to come?
There's WWE families
And
over
I was
there.
like, yeah. Then he'd come bounding down the street and we would sit there for hours talking about, acting, writing. We're both fathers and we
Tower
always talk about our
26.
kids. And one thing I knew was how much he loved his wife and that amazing little man, because we talked about it all the time. And we talked about being great fathers. And a father, I think, is an example. You live it out because your kids are always watching.
Tower 26.
You don't just talk about it. You represent it in the way you live your life, how you treat people. And Shad lived it out. Shad was a big man with a huge heart who loved everybody. I would go in the gym to work out. I run into Shad, and I wouldn't work out because he talked to me for hours.
This is not just
And then we both
we'll walk out in the parking lot and talk for like another hour before we get in our cars, you know. But I always left feeling really good, you know. And I went back through some messages on Facebook because him and I would always talk messages. I went through some private messages. And there was one from 2012 when him and I both went in for the same TV show. And we were encouraging one another. But I remember what he wrote to me, I read the other night. And it said, hey man, it's your time now. Go get it. And we were going for the same part, you know. And he was encouraging me. You know, that's the kind of man he was. And I remember he wrote a script named, called Pinfall. He wanted me to read it. He sent it to me. And he goes, you read my script, Chad? And I go, yeah. I was lying, right? And he goes, what did you read? And I go, man, the part where the guy got body slammed? And he's like, you're lying. He called me MF. I won't say that in case there. Then finally I read it. And it was amazing. And I was like, man, this is really good. I'm proud of you. And then he wrote another script about the Haitian Revolution, which was more powerful. And I said, man, you need to get this made. And I got to tell him again, I was proud of him. You know, and what I am so glad I got to do, and what we got to tell each other, I got to tell him in his face that I loved him, and he told me he loved me. So I don't regret that. I'm glad I got to tell him that while he was here. I'm glad I got to hug him and spend time with him, and as a man, look another man in his eyes and tell him I was proud of him and I loved him. Sometimes we as men, we don't express that to each other. So I just want to say this before I go. If you love somebody, don't be afraid to tell them. Don't be afraid to hold them close, look them in the eye and let them know what they mean to you so you don't have any regrets when they're gone. Because he might be gone now, but I can look and say, man, I loved him deeply, and I will have great memories of him, and I will celebrate his life. I will not forget that man. And I was thinking about him, and something I thought about, and I laughed. And many of you guys might think this, but I have never, ever in my life met anybody like him. He doesn't remind me of anybody else I know. That's how different he was. Right? So, on behalf of his wife, who I love, his son, dearly, thank you for allowing me to share. I love the family. I love him. I'll say it right here. I love you, Dad.
You're not going.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, David.
You guys hear me back there? Good. I wrote a little something down. But, they say when more than one gathers, there's something that we all have in common. And I can definitely say that the one thing that we all have in common, the one general thing, is our love for Shad. Right?
Yeah.
When I first met Shad, he was coming down off of his WWE career, the cornrows in his head, and he would pop in the gym with a huge smile on his face. He was living on bare means, living out of his car. Nobody would ever know it because his attitude about life was just so, he was always on cloud nine. He wasn't waiting for the world to fill him up. He was here to contribute to the world and to fill the world with his own happiness. And that's what separated him from a lot of different other people. So we used to have a lot of talks because I was going through a real dark period in my life. And the only thing that ever really affected him or bothered him was his longing for his wife and his son. That's the only time you ever catch him with any sort of long face or type of energy where he's contemplating what to do next, you know? And that's where we became friends. Deep friends. It's because I was going through my thing, he was going through his thing, and he would open up with me about that. And that's another great thing about Shad that you don't find, is that he was an open book. Because normally the way people carry on their lives, as far as my experience with them is, and I understand why, is we carry on our lives with a certain type of image that we're trying to protect. And it's for our own protection. But with Shad, whether he was happy, sad, going through shit, or disagree with you, he let it be known. And that was an amazing quality with him, because when you're going through your own shit, it allows you to realize that it's okay. We're all humans. You know, and part of the dynamic of that, what we are, we're not perfect. We have things that work for us, we have things that don't. We have things that we worry about, things that make us smile, things that don't make us smile, our own insecurities, so on and so forth. But on one of the last days that we were out here looking for him, we were out here in the, on the shores over here, and I remember looking off into the distance. I was recording it. And something told me to look off into the sun. So I'm recording it with my camera, and the sun blinked 10 times. I have the footage. It blinked literally 10 times. So I asked my fiance to help me count the blinks and counting them again. And then I realized at that moment that we're probably looking in the wrong direction. And I also realized that Oriah is 10 years old. And to me, that was Shad speaking to me to let him know that he's thinking about you. He's going to always be watching you. As long as you can see the sun, Shad is with us. I want to say that Shad is an amazing, there's nothing that you guys don't already know, but an amazing friend, father, husband, and I love him very much, and I'm going to miss him. I'm going to miss everything about him. He's one of the only few people that can out-top me. He's an amazing guy, and I thank you guys for coming here and gathering to show your love for him, because he's looking down on us. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hello, everybody. I'm going to try to speak a little louder so that people in the back can hear. I'm sitting in the back. I wasn't scheduled to speak, but Shad's in my ear, and of course, Shad is pushing me to say, hey, you're not going to show up at my event and not do something. And that's why Shad is my hero. Shad was the type of guy that, in situations where I would cower, Shad would step forward. And that's why Shad is my hero. If you needed a helping hand, and he knew about it, Shad would step forward. And that was my hero. That's why Shad is my hero. I would say Shad would give you the shirt off his back, but he never wore a shirt. And that's why Shad is my hero. Shad never saw a fight he would run from, a challenge he wouldn't accept, a hand he wouldn't shake, or a face he couldn't make smile.
It is Shelton.
And that's why Shad is my hero.
Woo!
For me, Shad will always be remembered for his final sacrifice. To give your life for his son, I think every father, every parent, every person here would think in that situation that they would make that same sacrifice. And the Shad I know when the moment came, it wasn't even a second thought. And that's why Shad is my hero. And finally, the Shad I know, it doesn't matter who would have been out there in the water with him that day. Could have been me, could have been anybody here. But in that same situation, Shad would have made the same call. And that's why Shad is my hero.
It was so good.
want to end our celebration for Shad. If you want to speak to Sil or leave a note, we have boxes and bins that are around. I think there's one over here. We want to bring one over here. You can drop it in the box or drop a note or a picture or... Yeah, okay. And if you can help us pick up these lights where you are, that will help tremendously, and just bring them to the front. But we thank you so much. We love you. And hold on one second. Hold on. Go for it. I can't. Hi, everybody. Just real quickly before everybody leaves, we have officially launched the GoFundMe thing on Shad's IG later tonight. We would love everyone's support. Is there anything else? That's it. Thank you.
Oh gosh. Edward, can I use your light, please? Thank you. Just turn on this thing. I don't want to flash people, but I gotta flash people.
One, two, three. I'll do one more. Oh, is that blocked? Here we go. All right, one, two, three.
Yeah, that's very sweet. Yeah, no, he's
And I'll do one more like this. One, two, three.
Thank you. Shelton, you're a hashtag. Yeah, on his live. They've made you a hashtag. Big heart. Your big heart's attractive, you said. All links will be posted on his page soon. Like I said, all negativity gets blocked. Oh, very nice to meet you. Shad is like
It made everybody feel good. Yeah. All right, buddy. Take care of your
JTD's not talking today. He'll be talking at the funeral. Trying to teach his sister, trying to reach his sister Tamara. Taylor, what an amazing job. Thank you. Is the funeral closed or open? I am not sure about the information, so I will not say yes, but I will not say no. Yes. Final question before we shut it off. His picture is at the front of Venice Beach. It will be there forever. Will the film? Yes. Funeral will be live streamed. All information will be posted on his page.
I don't know how to wake up.
No, I'm not his wife. I'm his niece.
This whole thing has cut me.
His funeral will be live streamed. All information will be on his page. His account is not hacked. His wife has his phone. Yes, everything will be posted to Instagram, Facebook, and any other social media platforms that he has. Yes, I am reposting this live on his page. He was verified before this. All information will be posted